Tennessee Hate Week, the third Saturday. An October rivalry goes to Tuscaloosa. Bryant Denny on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff. CBS will have the call. We'll have Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson. But you're rocking and rolling right now on the hottest show in the streets, giving you non-stop Bama. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, bringing this to you in the Magic City of Birmingham, streaming this to you through YouTube. And speaking of the channel, you know what time it is, baby. You hit that subscribe button right now. You tap subscribe, you smash the subscribe button, you make this your number one place for all things Bama football. You hit that like button as well. Give us that thumbs up. Smash the like button. Appreciate that. That daily super chat go $100 daily. Super chat going $100 right there. We appreciate that from you. You also hit that notification bell so you miss nothing. Talking nothing. Get notified. Be notified when all types of Alabama football coverage is dropped. Hit the notification bell right there. Touchdown Alabama Magazine right here on YouTube. Want to hear from you guys tonight, and you guys can let yourself be heard by calling 205-448-1358, the number to call in to let your opinion be made known on the show. 205-448-1358, and one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. The number also on screen. Coach Saban having his press conference today, I believe it just finished on this evening, him having his presser, getting everybody prepared for Bama, Tennessee. But we start the conversation off with this, and now is the time for Bama to start putting a complete game or a string of complete games together, because you're trying to convince the College Football Playoff Committee that you are one of the top 4 teams in the country prior to next season when it goes to a 12-team playoff. So now is the time for Coach Saban and this program to start showing America, to start showing the nation, we can put teams away quickly, or we can put teams away early and often. So it starts this week, third Saturday in October rivalry between Alabama and Tennessee, where the tradition of the smoking of cigars go haywire. Nick Saban had us chuckling a little bit there at the SEC coaches teleconference, saying that he doesn't smoke the cigar. Nick Saban does not smoke. He says, I like to chew on it. That's interesting. Saban, not puffing it, not the puff, pass thing for Nick Saban, but Coach Saban loves to chew on a nice, quality cigar, but he allows the players to have that fun with it. The players will enjoy that tradition of getting that cigar smoke in, that whole thing. Smoke them if you got them. Coach Saban allows the players to enjoy that tradition, enjoy that fun there. But he himself, he'll chew on one every now and again. But we all know this tradition started with head coach Paul Bear Bryant, General Robert Neal, and they kind of got that thing started there in terms of the Alabama-Tennessee rivalry. But the big question is, do the Vols have that firepower to get Coach Saban again? Does Josh Heupel, as the head coach of the Vols, have the offensive firepower to get it done again over Coach Saban? I don't think Tennessee has the offensive firepower this time that it had last year. Last year it had Hendon Hooker, it had Jalen Hyatt, had a lot of big play offensive pieces. Don't necessarily have that this season. Now, yes, Joe Milton has a sniper rifle of an arm, absolutely. They've got Jabari Small at running back, along with 2 other guys that can run the football. You've got Squirrel White at wide receiver. He's not Jalen Hyatt. And then, of course, you lost Brew McCoy for the remainder of the season due to an injury. So not necessarily the big-time offensive pieces that it had a season ago. However, Tennessee is going to want to be physical. They're going to want to go ground and pound and run the football. And then at the same time, they do have guys defensively led by James Pierce, who leads the team in sacks and tackles for loss. So they've got pieces. I just don't think it's the big-time offensive weapons that it had just a season ago. That's why the Volunteers were able to put up 52 points at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. So it's going to be interesting to see, can Josh Heupel get Nick Saban again? I don't necessarily see that happening, but it's going to be an intriguing ball game. Now, the position group that everybody's going to look at, both quarterbacks, Joe Milton of Tennessee, Jalen Milroe of Alabama. Which quarterback puts on the bigger show? Which quarterback makes the right decisions, doesn't turn the ball over, gets you in the right situation, but most importantly, which quarterback puts on the bigger show, right? Because in this rivalry, fans of both teams, of both programs, they're going to ask you upon your playing career being over. For Joe Milton, it's going to be, what was your record against Alabama? For Jalen Milroe, what was your record against Tennessee, right? So this is Jalen Milroe's first career start against the Volunteers. Can he put on a show? And a big show? Like, if Milroe can take the performance he had against Texas A&M minus the one interception, oh, baby, let's do it. If Milroe can take the performance he had against A&M minus the pick, and if he can take the first half of his performance against Arkansas, kind of blend those two together without the pick against A&M, it's going to be a fire show for Milroe. That's all I got to say. He played well against A&M. I mean, he played well that first half against Arkansas. He can kind of put, those two performances together, big there for Jalen Milroe. We're seeing him continue to grow in confidence, grow in decision-making, grow in leadership. Coach Saban stated today in the SEC Coaches Teleconference that the redshirt sophomore, he's got more of an understanding of what the expectation is for him at quarterback. And it's not to be a hero. Just do your job. Things are not going to be perfect for you. We're not asking you to do everything, right? We're just asking you to play your role, to execute your job, and to play to the standard that we have set for you here, we in terms of Alabama football. So who can have the bigger show between Milton and Milroe? It's going to be fun right there to watch. But the biggest thing of all, in terms of the College Football Playoff Committee, how I started the show off here, or this topic off here, Coach Saban wants to show the committee Alabama's one of the top 4 teams in the country. And for that to happen, Bama has got to wipe the floor with Tennessee. This is part 1 of you got to leave no doubt. You got to leave no stone left unturned that you are one of the top 4 teams in college football. So Bama's got to take this week and shut Tennessee down. Bama's got to take this week and play a complete game, offensively, defensively, and on special teams. Start that assurance of the committee. We're one of the top 4 teams in the country. But it starts this week, 3rd Saturday in October rivalry against a Tennessee team that beat you last year, against a Tennessee team that 5-1 this year, trying to get itself back to a New Year's Six bowl. This is going to be fun here. We take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. When we get back, we go on the phone lines to take your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We get to you, the Bama faithful. Line us up right after this.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we are back to the action, rocking and rolling from the break. Number one ticket for your Bama football news, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you guys in here. Got my man Eli Walker in the production studio, holding things down, keeping things down and in order. We got some super chats to get to right now, so how about my man Waylon, the president, dropping in that $4.99 in the super chats. Oh, snap, Bill! Big Bill from New York, that's $7 donation. Let's go! And then we got Marquise Washington with that $10 donation. Putting that in there. At daily super chat go $100. Daily super chat go $100 right there. Appreciate that coming from all of you. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. We got guitars in with that $4.99. Dropping that in there. Appreciate that from Guitarzan right there, helping us out on the show. We go to the phone lines, have to grab your calls. Wait a minute, now we got another one. Hold on now, hold on now, hold on now, wait. We got Joseph. Oh, hold on. We're going to spell this out. Oh, yeah, we got my man Joseph in here with that $19.99. Joseph, oh, dropping that in there. Appreciate him. Help us out on the show. And all of you guys making this your outlet here to talk Bama football. Before we go to the phone lines to grab your calls, call segment brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang. We got to pay a word here to our sponsor. This segment of In My Own Words brought to you, sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy right here, or Underdog Sports. So we see a lot of you are downloading the Underdog app, using the promo code, and having fun, which we love to see. We do. If you haven't already checked them out, be sure to do so. It's Underdog Sports. It's super easy to use. You go on the app and go pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total than what is listed. Maybe you want to do an Alabama special where you pick any Alabama pro player on offense, whether that be Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, any Alabama pro player on offense. You can pick one of those guys to go higher than their stat total that week. So you could do that with 2 to 5 different players, and you're in business. If you go 5 for 5, you can 20 times the money. You can 20 times your money right there. So sign up today with the promo code Alabama and get your first deposit doubled up to $100. You visit UnderdogFantasy.com. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. And you can find them in the App Store. And don't forget to register with my promo code Alabama to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Underdog Fantasy, Underdog Sports. Check those guys out right there. They do phenomenal. But we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey, Stevie, this is Michael from Columbus, South Carolina. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Michael. I'm doing fantastic. But better question, my man. How are you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good, Steven. I mean, getting ready for this Tennessee Bama game. Saturday supposed to be really good, I'm hearing. You know how. Last when I was on the podcast a couple of days ago, we were talking about who can be that star receiver besides Burton and Bond. And I honestly think we found two of them, Steven, that I believe that really showed out again in the game. Last week. I think Amari, not Black. I still put him as one, but I think now we may have to consider Kobe Prentice now has been one of those guys. What do you think, Steven?
I agree with you, Michael, and here's what I'm going to say about this. I like what Nye Black's doing. He's got 3 touchdown catches on the year. I like what he's doing. But it's like Kobe Prentice, it feels like to me, Kobe Prentice has it all, right? He's got electrifying speed, he does. He's got really good quickness, really good burst, strong hands, competitive fire. He worked with one of the guys that I'm friends with, Mike McCoy, former Alabama receiver at Maximum Performance Institute, trained with Mike McCoy. We know he switched his number from number 80 to number 6. And it's like, Prentice is averaging almost 17 yards per catch. I like what Nye Black's doing. I really do. And I think he's going to get more and more touches. But it's like, I think it's time to go to Kobe Prentice. It's kind of that third, like, outside guy that can play inside and outside as well. It's kind of time to maybe look at what can we really see out of Kobe Prentice.
And I got 2 more questions for you, Steven. My second one is, what's been going on with Ja'Cory Brooks and Kendrick Law? What's happening there?
Okay, so with Brooks, I feel like a lot of these younger guys are starting to – I feel like a lot of these younger guys have passed him up. They have shown more hunger than him, and it's kind of disappointing due to Brooks led the receiver room with 8 touchdowns last season. So I don't understand why he's sort of tapered off here, kind of eerie to me. And then with Kendrick Law, I put that more so on Tommy Reese in terms of why has he not had Law more involved in the offensive flow. And then if you want to get Law more involved, get him involved on special teams. Have him return punts. I've been saying it. Have Kendrick Law return punts. No offense to Kool-Aid McKinstry whatsoever, but I feel like if you have Kendrick Law back there returning punts, something big could happen. Like, you got to get that young man the ball. If you're not going to feature him as a wide receiver, then feature him as a punt returner, for crying out loud.
And then lastly, Steven, we talk about that defense. I can't, like I said, I'll say it again. This Tennessee offense is really, really good. They like to run the ball a lot from what I can see. I mean, Jalen Wright, Jabari Small, Sampson, they are loaded at the running back position. And although they have lost Boo McCoy, from what I hear for the season, I believe, still got Squirrel White, still got Dante Thornton, still got Ramel Keaton, still got Jacob Warren back there. So how important is that the defense play well against that Tennessee offense?
It's important, Michael, because you lost to this Tennessee team last year. You lost to this team a season ago. You gave up 52 points to this team a season ago. So everybody in that locker room knows it. Deontay Lawson talked about that game left a bad taste in my mouth. Everybody knows what took place a season ago. So there shouldn't be any other motivation than we lost to them last year. This is the next team on the schedule as we're trying to get a push to a conference championship and potentially a national championship. So it's highly important. And Saban has had this group locked in all week too. We got to play our best football. We haven't played it yet. This team is focused in.
Thank you, Steven. Have a great day.
Appreciate Michael from South Carolina calling in to get us started here on a Wednesday. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen, Bill from New York. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, Bill. First off, Bill, I'm so happy for you and your wife, Diana. You guys had yourself a great time. I'm proud that the Bama Nation treated y'all royally.
Oh, it was fantastic. Had a wonderful time, really. It was just so much fun, lifelong dream. But let me tell you, you see the game a little bit differently at the stadium. Obviously, I was watching. I got to talk about the defense a little bit. I think this defense, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was much better than last year's defense. Much better. The secondary is some of the same guys, and they're more experienced. Downs is on his way to being the best safety in the game. The linebackers, even though we lost Will Anderson, we're much deeper. Much deeper. You got a guy like 34, Quindarius Robinson. He's all over the field. I was telling Diana, watch this guy before the game. Saban the other night called him one of the best special team guys he's ever coached.
That's a huge compliment, especially when you look at all of the guys that started off on special teams coming through Saban.
That includes Reuben Foster with that famous hit on Fournette. And then our line is maybe twice as good as it was last year. That's my opinion. So here's what I think. We don't have a superstar quarterback. We have a good quarterback. But I'm not going to blame this all on Proctor. I think I'm giving most of the blame to Reese. You have to call plays in his skill set. You know what I mean? You got to have those short outs, the quick outs, not a square out across the field that takes 5 seconds to get there. Quick outs, throws to the back, the running backs, and they're open. I could see them open. We had the seats on the 40. I could see these guys getting open, And I'm saying the last 4 quarterbacks we had might have scored 40 points each against this team, but I think Milroe can do it too. But you have to. I just wish that Reese would work out a plan that suits him. But I'm going to let you go, man. And it's always a pleasure. And roll Tide, brother.
Appreciate Bill from New York calling in right there to the show. So, I'm going to say this before we take this call. I'm going to say this. I had the opportunity to be a part of the Bama Standard show on Tuesday. We had former Alabama quarterback Tyler Watts on the show. Tyler Watts, who is now in the broadcast booth with Crimson Tide Sports Network, Eli Gold, the whole shebang there as the color analyst, color commentator for the radio. So Tyler Watts told us that how this defense looks and what he sees from this Alabama defense, if Alabama's offense can score 30 points from here on out, Alabama wins the game, because he sees nobody scoring a lot on this Alabama defense. That's just how good this defense is in Tyler Watts' opinion. But he went deeper by saying, if this team gets to 24 points a game from here on out, Alabama still got a pretty strong shot of winning out the rest of the way, because once again, this Crimson Tide defense and how it's looking under Kevin Steele. But that's just what Tyler Watts, from his vantage point, former Alabama quarterback, what he shared with the guys, including myself, on the Bama Standard Tuesday. But we go to this call here. Well, you're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Mike from Kentucky. What's going on, brother?
Doing good, Mike. How are you feeling? We got Tennessee, man. Cigar time. Here we go.
Yeah, this is a big one, bro. This is one I grew up watching. I used to keep my mouth shut every year till we played Tennessee. They used to be the measuring stick. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you talk about back there with Peyton Manning and T. Martin, and you had the Clausen guys.
Cats. Yeah, Tennessee used to be they were a pretty good challenge years ago, and they still can be. Yeah, I want to comment on Ja'Cory Brooks, man. No matter what happens to that kid, I'll always have a place for him in my heart, man. He made that big catch against Auburn. That year Bryce led and that's Alabama lore right there. So he'll always have a place in my heart. I don't care if whatever. I always love the boy for that. Never forget him. I think Tennessee, the way to beat them is we have got to shut their run game down on first down. We can't let Small squirt through there for 7-8 yards on first down, or it's going to be a long day. There'll be another nail biter. And I really don't care about style points at this point in the year. I got to thinking about it, Stephen. We got one road to the college playoffs, and it runs through Georgia. And, I just hope Georgia don't lose a game between now and then, because that might not even be enough to get us in. We got to beat an undefeated Georgia team in the SEC championship, or it's going to be hard to get in. What do you think?
That's a huge point there, Mike, because you got a lot of undefeated teams in front of Alabama right now in the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. Now, some of those guys are going to cancel each other out because they're playing their schedule now. But I agree with you. One of the best shots for Bama is to face an undefeated Georgia in Atlanta for an SEC title, and Bama is the one to beat Georgia.
Yeah, I think it's the only shot at this point because I'll tell you the truth, I don't see Washington losing another game. Maybe Oregon can get them second time around. I think Oklahoma's going to win out. Maybe Texas can get them second time around. And Florida State's they've already played the toughest part of their schedule, and then Michigan or Ohio State's probably going to go undefeated. There's 4 undefeated teams right there. I think our only shots would beat an undefeated Georgia team. And even then, there may not be no room at the end. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough, man. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. So if you're a Bama fan out there, you got to be hoping and praying that several of these teams start losing games one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, them Louisville Cardinals had a history of upsetting Florida State. I think that might be their albatross for the season. I mean, I'm counting on them, man. They put a pretty good thumping on Notre Dame, which is a pretty decent, better than average football team. So, I got a couple of hopefuls out, but the dominoes got to fall. Or it's going to be tough.
Going to be tough, but we know this is a sport in college football that the unthinkable happens. The unthinkable does happen in college football.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. I just hope we can shut down Small, man. That dude's slippery. When them big linemen stand up, that guy disappears. He's short, but he's strong as a deadgum Georgia mule. He's a tough runner. We have got to win the battle of first down, and then I think we can handle Tennessee pretty easy.
That's going to be the big message. Take care of first down, and then third down, get off the field. Third down, get off the field.
For sure, man. Well, look, I'm going to keep my calls short, man, so everybody else can get on, man. Roll Tide to y'all. Have a good one this weekend. Oh, something happened the other day, and I got to tell you real quick.
Go ahead.
Man, I was deer hunting. And the biggest bobcat you ever seen in your life come down through that holler and walk straight to me, dude. And I turned him into a popsicle.
Oh,
I got him
man.
Dude, I got a bunch of Kentucky lifelong fans up here that are just jealous as they can be, dude, because I own me a wildcat. I got him at the taxidermy, and I'm going to put an Alabama bandana around his neck just to piss my friends off.
Do that for him, then. Do that thing, then, Mike. Do that, Mike.
I'm going to that. Well, boy, that'll put a hair across them for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna have me a Kentucky Wildcat mounted and put him on the wall. Have a good one, man. Later.
Mike from Kentucky said, taking care of bobcats, hunting deer, and watching Bama football. You gotta love Mike. Gotta enjoy Mike. Good call from him. We take this when you're live on the show. What's happening? How we feel? And state your name and where you calling from.
What's up with you, Steve? It's Jay in Smithfield.
Jay, what's happening? How we feeling, man? Hey, here we go, Jay. One of them decade-type games. Here it is.
No, Steve, no. Don't give Tennessee none of that. They won last year, but your record is 1-16 or 1-15. You got your one. Like I say, that's a little pat on the ass for little brother. You did good. But now it's time to restore balance, Steve. It's time to restore balance. If you come out early, you hit Milton, because he can't run like that. You going to send the fire at him. You hit him a couple times. He got that big old arm, but he like Miro. He can't hit nobody 3 yards in front of him. So all you got to do is look out deep, send the boys at him, knock his block off, and we good. That defense will be good. We got to stop the run. The big guys got to be the big guys. But, it's really that left tackle that's really the problem, Steve. We having problems. I mean, our offense ain't going to never get together. If we don't figure something out with Caden and Elijah Pritchard, man, I think we need to just stick with Caden and just, hey, let it be.
At this point, Jay, you stick with Caden. And then this offseason, you tell Caden, get with Miss Amy, get with the training staff and cut down 40 pounds?
See, I mean, we can't get him to cut down 40 pounds now, but we can tell him, man, you need to get your kick slide together, bruh. You know you too big for your feet to be coming together in any kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand why it seems like ain't nobody talking to this man, because some of the mistakes that he making, man, these is mistakes that your coach out of you when you first step out there in the 10th grade. Like, hey, man, you need to go and sit down in that chair, punch right. He ain't his technique. He good in the first slide. Then he get lazy, Steve. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know that's that lineman talk. I'm getting a little too technical for some fans and all that. I understand, but man, Caden, you gotta, man, sit down, sit your booty down, kick that left leg like you mean business, and when they come in your square, you punch them. You know, that's when you strike. That's the block, guys. You know. But yeah, man, Steve, man, we gotta dominate the lines of scrimmage early, man. Early, go and set the tone at home. And Tommy Reed's got to call the plays we need to succeed, man. Don't do us like you did last game, because it took us a quarter and a half to really get into it. Against Arkansas, we didn't do nothing the whole first quarter for real. And then you get into it because you start running the ball and you catch them on the play action and stuff like that. Well, we need to see things like that early in the game, because, see, these boys going to be amped up. They going to try to come into Bama and win. You know what I'm saying? This they Super Bowl. Everybody know that. So, man, let's go establish the run early, shut down the run early, and pop a couple big plays over top, man. Roll Tide, I love y'all, man.
Appreciate Jay calling in right there from Smithville over there in Virginia. Jay, I mean, we got nothing but coaches on this show. We got fans, we got coaches, we got energy. Everybody is sharing their opinion. That's what we like doing this here. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feel? And state your name and where you calling from.
Fred, Georgia. Hope all is well. Really appreciate your show. I got two things. First of all, heading down to the game this weekend to see my kids and to see the game, and wanted to know, are you at the Alumni Hall on Bear Bryant Drive on Friday? And then also, my football question is this, I did notice that when Alabama started to run a little bit more off tackle as opposed to more of an inside run game, they seemed to have some success, but then they went away from it, and it seemed to be very predictable. So wanted to get your thoughts, and I'm going to hang up and listen to your answer.
Appreciate Joseph calling in right there. So I'll answer the second one first. When Bama does go off tackle, there is success there. When Bama has gone off tackle and they use either Tyler Booker or Jaden Roberts from last game's that pulling guard, and they go off tackle that way, Bama's been really successful doing that. And I don't know why they have not done that more and stick to that until the opposing team shows they can stop that counter off tackle play there. But I don't get why after they would run 2 to 3 plays off tackle and you're getting 5 to 7 yards per run there, then you try to go back up the middle with a dive play and that doesn't work. Like you do what works there. And then going back to the first topic, the first question of, am I at the Alumni Hall on Bryant Drive? I'm not at that one. I was at the one in Midtown Village. I was at the one right there. May not be there this Friday. We'll have to see. But normally I would be at the one there at Midtown Village. But we'll see if I'm there for this Friday. But appreciate Joseph there for that call, my man out of Georgia. We're taking this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feel? And state your name and where you calling from.
Hey, my boy, G from Raleigh. How you been?
G, doing good, feeling good, happy about this game against Tennessee. I'm going to say this. Jaden Roberts, keep him at left guard the rest of the year.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, I like how you know that's my boy. I've been calling on that boy for about a year, some change now.
Keep him at left guard the rest of the year, and if there's any way possible, we can work in Terrence Ferguson a bit more. I know he's coming off an injury, but if there's any way we can work in T. Ferg a bit more, please do that.
All right. Before I get into football, I want to ask a question. Steve, how I support the channel and send in like a super chat or donation? How I do that? How I go about that?
Okay, so G, good question there. So on the YouTube channel, I think there's a spot off to the side that says super chat or donation. I think it's a little heart there to the side. I'll get my man Ian out to fact check that, but I think there's a heart off to the side. There's a button off to the side you can press for you to do the super chat with.
Okay, man. Look, you know what? Since you said that, I don't scroll down. I think I see it. If I get to looking at it, I see. Okay. All right. So now I can support my boy. Hey, look, this is where I met with them, and I've been saying it. We're seeing too much inconsistency, right? And one game we're up real good, one game we're playing real low, one game we're playing low, we're playing whatever. The inconsistency of Bama is the Jaden Roberts situation. That's not the only Jaden Roberts situation on the team. I was on a message board messing with some other fellow friends, and I was asking them, I said, how concerned they are that our best guard was third string. And I put emphasis on third. Jaden Roberts wasn't second. He wasn't a starter. Our best guard, maybe, him and Booker. I think he's a little better than Booker. Just raw talent, raw size, raw structure. But our best lineman was third string. So I say, I've been on this. If that's happening to Roberts, it's probably happening at two more, at max 3 more positions, and I'm going to call them out, Steve. And I think this is the reason why we're not seeing what we're longing for. I think Jaden Roberts is so good, big dog. He should go to left tackle, and Proctor should be placed beside Latham. And if you do that switch, look at how balanced it is. You got Proctor and Latham at guard, your two mammoths, and then you will have Booker and Roberts on the left side, your two technicians. And I know that line would carry us to the promised land, but there's a player issue thing going on. I think Saban is not able to put out the best team because he's worried about transfers. I think Christian Leary and JoJo Earl kind of hurt how Saban has always went about playing people. Because if you look at the game last week, no shot to my boy because he has a lot of great catches in his past. But Ja'Cory Brooks being in that rotation last week, I think that threw the whole game off because he hasn't played the whole season. So for Ja'Cory to not play the whole season, and then you see him get the start out of nowhere, that's weird to me. You get what I'm saying? Like for Miro to have had the heat that he had going, you put Ja'Cory out there in the offense, the offensive passing game almost went flat until the original guys got back in there. Prentice, Bond, and Burton. Those should be our 3 guys. The issue on offense is too much musical chairs. With the person who needs musical chairs is Seth McLaughlin, but we can't do that. That's who need to be musical chairs. But the issue with the O is we're not sticking to one group of players, and we're refusing to make the correct switch. Everybody knows Caden Proctor is a guard right now, and everybody knows Tyler Booker and Jada Roberts should be taking that shot at left tackle. I don't know what the hell. What's the O-line coach name? I'm ready for him to go. Yeah, I'm ready for him to go because we ain't been good on O-line since they took Kyle Flood from us and took him to Texas. And look at their O-line. All right. I'm going to say this last part. I'm going to let you go, Steve. I know somebody else waiting. I just feel we're not electric. I know the defense is great. I just feel we're not electric enough on defense. Let me ask you this, Steve. Do you think Tresman Marshall is better than Justin Jefferson?
Do I think Tresman Marshall is better than Justin Jefferson?
Yes, sir.
I think now, as far as speed wise, no. As far as speed wise, lateral quickness wise, no. As far as knowing the system, sure. But speed wise, lateral quickness wise, no.
Okay. And I think, listen, when it comes to Saban throwing that, knowing the system out there, I think that's just his cap to not play the best player. Because when he say know the system, you got Key, who came in from UAB, nowhere near Alabama, came in and started. But I thought the system was too tough. You got Marshall, who's coming in from UGA. Well, you could say it's a similar system, but I thought the system was too tough. So you see guys who have been in our program get pushed down to the bottom. I think it's the junior college transfer or the transfer portal starter package that Saban got. If you transfer here, I'm just going to start you. So I think we're missing some electricity from the middle out of Justin Jefferson, and I'm not happy with Key. We have a Mr. Mississippi embracing. The best football player in Mississippi is not playing. And no offense to Key, but he won a Mr. No State when he came out. So it's just what's going on? You got Brayson, you got Tony Mitchell, and you got Jake Pope. I'm telling you right now, as far as electricity and momentum shift, Key not over them, big dog. But hey, Steve, I thank you for taking my call. I appreciate you. I literally I outrate you. I'm gonna get that support in there. Thank you for helping me out with that. The issue is too many other Jaden Roberts situations on this team. Trust me. If it was one, it's two. Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate G from Raleigh giving his thoughts here on the show, offering an interesting perspective. Very interesting perspective. I mean, Jaden Roberts is literally your best option at offensive guard. And if it's taken 6 to 7 games for that to finally be unveiled, you do have to ask yourself, what other situations on this team are we seeing the exact same thing? You have to ask yourself that question. Guys, shout out my man Will with that $1.99 in the super chats, dropping it in there. Appreciate Will helping us out right there. Cool call topic, folks. He's back in the NFL. Who can I be referring to? The first 5-star of the Nick Saban era, Julio Jet Jones. Oh my goodness, Julio's back in the NFL. And he's back with the Philadelphia Eagles. Are you kidding me? The Philadelphia Roll Tide Eagles? You kidding me? So Philly's got Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson. Hold on, I ain't finished. Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, Josh Jobe, Eli Ricks, and now Julio Jones. That's 6 Bama guys on one team. That's 6 Bama dudes on one team, y'all. The Philadelphia Roll Tide Eagles, y'all. You serious? It's already not fair for Jalen Hurts to throw to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. But now you give him Julio. I don't care if it's for a 1-year deal. You give him Julio. Man. Man. The Eagles ain't finna lose another game. I know they lost to the Jets. That was a bad loss. Philly ain't finna lose another game, man. Eagles got Julio. Eli, is it too late for me to redo my fantasy team? Is it too late? I'm just asking for a friend. This ain't for me. It's for a buddy of mine. Is it too late for me to redo my fantasy team? I mean, if it is, I understand. I understand. We'll go to a break right here, folks. Don't touch that down. When we get back, we talk about one, Deontay Lawson. He's been getting huge praise from teammates here. But is he the next, potentially the next, butt-kiss type linebacker for Alabama? We'll talk about D-Law after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we are rolling back in here, people, to the action from the break. Hottest show in the streets. We're talking nothing but your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Continue tapping the like button, hitting that subscribe button, making this your spot for all things Bama football. That daily super chat go $100 daily. Super chat go $100 right there. We appreciate all of you. And we now topic 2 of the conversation. This one here on Deontay Lawson, redshirt sophomore linebacker from Mobile. And, to me, I think D-Law is bringing back that swagger in terms of that inside linebacker spot for Alabama football. He's sort of bringing that back. Nick Saban's got his real deal linebacker in Deonte Lawson. I mean, here's a guy that I think he's 3rd or 4th on the team in tackles right now with 37. Got 3.5 of those for loss, 2 sacks. Filling out the stat sheet pretty nicely there. With Lawson, Alabama, one of the top defenses in the country, scoring defense, total defense. It's tied for this number 3 nationally in sacks with 27, if I'm not mistaken. This is a team that's tied for 5th nationally for interceptions with 7. So D-Law's got this defense rocking. I mean, he's got this defense like rocking. And you go back to the guys that have come from this state playing that inside linebacker position: Rolando McClain, C.J. Mosley, Reggie Ragland, Sean Dion Hamilton, Rashawn Evans. Those guys, it meant something to them playing that inside linebacker, middle linebacker position, being an in-state guy. And it means something to Deontay Lawson, just seeing how he played at Mobile Christian Academy in Mobile, but C.J. Mosley played at Theodore High School. So Deontay grew up a lot watching C.J. He mentioned that. He grew up watching a lot of C.J. Mosley, sort of pattern his game, after C.J. And Tuesday, in player interviews, Tresman Marshall, the transfer from Georgia, spoke very highly of D-Law. He's like, man, this dude is a real deal leader. Like, I'm older than him, but I look up to him because of how he runs this defense. Marshall said to D-Law, he said, bro, listen, like, you remind me of Nakobe Dean, who played at Georgia. Nakobe Dean, who was Marshall's teammate the last 2 years. Nakobe Dean, who was a unanimous All-American, a Dick Butkus Award winner, college football playoff national champion, and now he's in the NFL with the Eagles. That's who Deontay Lawson reminds Tresman Marshall of Nakobe Dean. Some big praise right there coming from Marshall, especially when you look at Marshall being a senior. He sees Lawson as this huge leader, and Lawson, redshirt sophomore. Big deal right there. Huge deal right there. When you talk about an older guy giving huge kudos to a younger guy at a marquee position, an inside linebacker, that just tells you the work that D-Law, the effort that D-Law, the communication, and the leadership that Lawson is exuding here in the locker room, but not just that, on the field as well. You go back to, he was only, 80% for the A&M game, Eli? And D-Law still went out there and played. Still went out there and gave everything he had out there on the field. Went out there, gave everything he had out there on the field against Arkansas. And now the Tennessee game, this week he spoke about how, the loss last year left a bad taste in his mouth, as it should. When you are an in-state guy and you lose to Tennessee, especially with how much that game means to Alabama fans and people in this state and people in the community, you lose that game, it's going to have an awful taste in your mouth. And you want to redeem yourself for that. So with Tresman Marshall comparing D-Law to Nakobe Dean, the question is, can D-Law at some point become a Dick Butkus Award winner? There's a shot there. There is a shot there. He could get added on as a mid-season addition to the Dick Butkus Award watching list. He could be added on as a mid-season addition if he wasn't put on there from the get-go, from the beginning. He can play. Lawson can flat play. Lawson can flat go. We're seeing him do a lot of positive things here where this Alabama defense is concerned. And like I mentioned earlier, he's following in the footsteps of guys like your C.J. Mosleys, your Rolando McClains, your Reggie Raglins, your Sean Deion Hamiltons, your Rashaan Evans. He's falling within that pedigree. He's falling in that category with his style of play. And kind of people, D-Law is kind of starting to restore the greatness that is at number 32, right? Because you think about this. C.J. Mosley wore 32, it meant something. Rashaan Evans wore 32, it meant something. Dylan Moses wore 32, and Dylan could have had a really good career. No offense to Dylan, he got hurt and never was the same. But when Dylan got hurt, that number 32 kind of went down a little bit, right? And so now D-Law's grabbed that number. And he's brought some life, some swagger, some respect back to that number in terms of the way he's played. Even though he was only, 80% against A&M, that was a strong, good 80% because he still went out there and did his thing. So he's even starting to bring some reverence back to that number 32 there from a defensive perspective. So D-Law could be Butkus Award winner, All-American if he continues to progress forward here with the way he's playing on this defense. But really cool seeing Tresman Marshall give that honor, give that kudos there to Deontay Lawson for the way that he has been playing. But we're going to go to another break here, folks, in the show. Don't touch that dial. Upon our return, we jump back into the phone lines to grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Hey, folks, light us up right after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, here we go. Back into the action, rocking and rolling with you from the break. Number one spot for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you guys in here. Gotta show some love to Adam Laplero with that $20 donation. Dropping that in the bucket. Appreciate Adam helping us out here on the show. We go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in. Let your voice be made known, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feeling, state your name, and where you calling from.
Calling from Georgia. How are you?
Doing great, Adam. Big weekend right here. You got Bama, Tennessee, third Saturday in October. Cigar tradition. Even though Saban doesn't smoke them, he lets the players smoke them, but big game nonetheless.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than this. I just had two brief comments. You know, when I was watching the game last week, I was really impressed with Jam Miller and Justice Haynes, and I kind of feel like they gave us a spark. And I'd like to see more of them, and I was wondering what you thought about that. And the other question I had was, do you think we're going to see anything different from Reese in this game? Do you think he's going to maybe have some more screens, make the offensive game plan a little bit more complex, a little more balanced, maybe some more quick throws? What do you think we're going to see?
All right, so the first one, Adam, I enjoyed what I saw from Jam Miller and Justice Haynes. I really did. They gave the offense a spark, ripping off chunk yardage plays. Definitely want to see more of them as we get deeper into the second part of the season. And then for Tommy Reese, he needs to be creative this week. We need to see more slants. We need to see more throws in the flat. I would like to see a jet sweep or two. Just something different to keep Tennessee off balance, because you never want to be too predictable. Tennessee feels like, hey, we can line 8 or 9 guys up in the box, force Alabama to throw the football. But if we show some different stuff here to get Tennessee off balance, now you can't necessarily just keep 8 or 9 guys in the box, which opens up more of your offense. So for Tommy Reese, he needs to open things up more. He needs to have a bit more creativity and flow there, with this offense. And starting off with this Tennessee game, that needs to be unfolded.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to win the game because I think we're going to stop the run, and Milton can't beat us with his arm. So I'm going with Alabama 30-17. Roll Tide, Stephen. Thanks, man.
Appreciate Adam calling in there from Georgia. He's got Bama 30-17 over Tennessee in this matchup here. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's up, Stephen? It's Isaac from Mobile.
What's happening, Isaac? How we feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling good, man. I just wanted to make a quick few comments. I agree with what Jay and G said a lot about the offensive line, and that's what I was going to ask you about Jaden Roberts. Because I know you said you feel like he should play the rest of the year, but that's what I was thinking too. He should secure the starting spot by default at this point.
I mean, he should. He should.
Yeah,
he absolutely should.
Right. It's mid-season. I mean, you don't want to go back to Dale Court and then push Terrence Ferguson back to the second string. So I think he should stay put. And I saw something about Anthony Steen. He put out a tweet, the former offensive lineman. He said that this might be the worst Bama O-line you ever seen. He said no chemistry and no discipline. So I think that's saying a lot from a former offensive lineman when he say no chemistry. So that means they're rotating too much. Is that correct?
They're rotating too much. There's too much musical chairs. Nobody's able to really kind of sink their roots in, and that's a problem.
Right.
That's a huge problem when you look at from Jalen Milroe's perspective as a quarterback. When you're seeing so many guys rotating in front of you in terms of offensive linemen, that's a problem. It's a problem in terms of the running backs. When you're rotating so many offensive linemen, these running backs don't know, okay, how is this guy going to block for me? How can I set up this block? How can I set up that block? I mean, it's a problem. It's a domino effect. And then when you look at the wide receivers, when you're rotating so many offensive linemen, they can't protect the quarterback. The receiver's trying to get open. By the time they get open, your quarterback's sacked, so the receiver's frustrated. So rotating all of these offensive linemen, not getting a cohesiveness up front, it messes up everybody.
Yeah. So that's what I agree with J and G. Lock in Caden Proctor, lock in Jaden Robinson. Let's go, man. But I wanted to ask you something else too. Cole Kublik said something that I haven't heard from any of the usual Bama media. He mentioned that he heard from a source that Jalen Milroe has a problem with the zone read, which is why they don't run it much. Have you heard anything about that? Like he can't run the zone read.
I have not
heard
I have not heard anything to that degree. What I heard, because I remember speaking with the former Alabama quarterback Tyler Watts on yesterday, and Tyler Watts is up there in the broadcast booth with Eli Gold and the rest of the Crimson Tide Sports Radio staff. The thing with Milroe wants to show badly that he's not just a running quarterback. He wants to show that he can really, truly throw, and that's the reason why he's not necessarily taking off and running the way he did early on in the season. And I can understand you wanting to remove yourself from that label, but at the same time, you don't want to remove something that makes you unique, something that makes you great, right? We can be so bent on, I got to prove this guy wrong, I got to prove this person wrong, I got to show that I'm not, just a runner. But when you become so keen on, I don't want to run, that when you need to run, it's okay to run. When you need to run, it's okay to run. It's almost like going back to Coach Saban, for example. Coach Saban had gotten so mellow in, I want to be calm, I don't want to yell, I don't want to be chippy, I don't want to go off, that sometimes Saban go off. When you go off, stuff get done, stuff happen. You see the productivity there. And when Miss Terry finally told Nick, baby, get mad, go off, Saban went off, and you saw something good happen against Mississippi State. So sometimes we sometimes as athletes, when you don't want to be pigeonholed to one thing, you try to go so much away from what makes you unique that you lose the uniqueness. So, and you don't want Milroe to lose that. So I think that's the biggest thing for him, is don't go too much away from running that, you get scared to run.
Yeah. Hey, look, last thing, and I'm going to let you go. So I still got to blame Tommy Rees, though. I'm sorry. Because if I give you a 6'2", 220-pound athletic quarterback that runs a 4.4, I know here's some offensive coordinators, Steve, that they could make this offense a 40-point a game, 50-point a game offense. And I think, tell me if you agree with this, I think Jalen Milroe is at the stage when Jalen Hurts was his last season at Oklahoma. I think he's at that point right now. Would you agree with that or no?
I look at there's some resemblance to that. And I look at, if Jalen Milroe were to have a Steve Sarkisian, were to have a Lane Kiffin, a Jeff Lebby, one of these offensive minds that just say, bump it, let it go, let's be creative, let's do some stuff, then Milroe could really, really do some stuff.
Yeah, that's how I feel. But anyway, I ain't going to hold you up, Steve. Appreciate it. Roll Tide.
Appreciate Isaac there calling in from Mobile, giving his thoughts here on the show. We continue with phone calls. We grab this one right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Everyone, it's Q from Brooklyn.
Q, what's happening, man? How we feeling? Brooklyn in the house.
I'm doing well. Brooklyn is in the house.
What's on your mind, Q?
I think first, regarding let's start with the defense. I think that our perimeter, such as our cornerbacks and Kool-Aid and Terry and Arnold, they need to be stronger. And when it comes to tackling, because I feel like these guys don't know how to tackle on the outside, and it's very scary. Especially Kool-Aid, all that bling bling and all that goodness that he's wearing before the game. He should buckle up his chin strap and know how to tackle on the outside, because although you can cover as a corner, you got to come up and make a play once those linebackers get beat. Now, regarding this offense, I'm with everybody that has a problem with Tommy Rees. I'm for it, and I think that he's not utilizing Jalen Milroe as the quarterback that he is. I think that next year, going into next season, I'm sorry to speak too forward here, but I think that we need to get in an offensive coordinator that, knowing that Jalen Milroe is going to be our number one quarterback, we need an offensive coordinator that plays to his strength. I think that the offensive line is playing atrocious, and I don't think it starts with the outside. I think it starts with the interior offensive line. I think it starts at the center, where the center is the one that is the leader of the offensive line, and I think he's doing a horrible job in leading. I think he's doing a horrible job in telling these other men around him, the guards and the tackles, to buckle up and play with full force of the way Alabama does. And I think that offensive linemen in the press conference, going into press conference at the beginning of the season and now telling them they have playing with a chip on their shoulder, they want to play smash mouth. Look, they're not having no smash mouth. How many times has Jalen Milroe been sacked? And he's been sacked so many times. And I think going forward, looking ahead, the way that we're playing offensively is going to have an impact on the way these receivers that we recruit come in, because now they're noticing that we're not really throwing the ball that much, and when we do throw the ball, it's only deep balls. We're not utilizing all those 5-star receivers that we brought in for the past 2-3 years, which is going to affect some guys going into the portal. But that team in orange this weekend, I'm going to light one up once we blow them out, because we got to push them in the mouth. I hate that team, and I like the video that came out a couple years ago. I don't even say their name. That team in orange needs to get punched in their mouth, because the way they treated us last year, they beat us last year, was very, very down, and I didn't like it. But thank you. I mean, God bless you. God bless me. God bless Alabama football. God bless Nick Saban. God bless America. God bless everyone all over the world. Thank you.
Appreciate Q from Brooklyn letting the passion be made known on his end on the show. I got to say this. You don't tell me this show don't touch every part of the globe. We got people in New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Connecticut, California, Texas, Florida, other countries. You don't tell me this show don't touch the whole globe, Eli. You don't tell me that. This show touches the whole world. Guys, show some love to Dale B! Dale B with that $10 donation. Dropping that in the bucket right there. Appreciate Dale B. Full call topic here, folks. We got another Bama on Bama crime in terms of quarterbacks in the NFL. Last week we had Tua versus Bryce Young. Now we got two of the most unselfish, two of the most prestigious quarterbacks in the Saban era going at it this Sunday. Jalen Hurts versus Tua Tagovailoa. Jalen and Tua finna go at it. Eagles, Dolphins. I think that's on CBS too. On Sunday. Woo! Eagles, Dolphins. Jalen, Tua. Here we go. Here we go. That's going to be a good football game right there. Eli, I don't know where you're going to be at, but pimp juice. I'm going to be on the couch watching this one. Eagles, Dolphins, going at it live. Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, going to be a good football game right there. We take our final break on the show. We get back. We dive into a discussion of, can Tommy Rees have any type of continuity, chemistry, balance with this offense in terms of this play calling? We wrap things up with that after this.
I'm Malachi Moore. You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
What's going on? This is Benny Bice. I'm the founder and owner of Touchdown Alabama. And you guys are supporting one of the only independent outlets covering Alabama football today. No other sports, no networks, just Alabama football. Roll Tide Roll.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got 2 words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
All right, folks. All right. Appreciate all of you for all the calls, donations, YouTube chatting, super chats, making this your show, your spot, your network, your channel, your place for all things Bama football. We appreciate the love from all of you. And we get into right now the final discussion topic here at the conference. Before we do that, we got some super chats. So how about Tony Cope? Tony Cope with that $4.99, dropping that in the bucket. And then we got Guitars in with that $9.99. Putting that in there as well. So Tony Cope and Guitars in, appreciate you guys right there. But final topic of conversation, Eli, it'll be on Tommy Rees. And can he really have the effective balance, continuity, chemistry within the offensive play calling to provide that balance here moving forward? Because Tommy Rees has come under fire a couple of times here this season, and I understand it's his first year in the program, first year at Alabama, first year under Nick Saban, but at the same time, we as consumers of Tide football, there are expectations, right? And when you've seen so many coordinators that have come through, average 40 plus points a game, and have that big play ability and the play calling and that cohesiveness and the creativity, and when you're not seeing that from Tommy Rees, that's a bit of a problem there. Even though we had our issues with Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien was still averaging 40 points a game. It's crazy to think about that. Even with the issues that we had with OB was still averaging 40 points per game. Right here with Tommy Rees, you're barely averaging 30 points per game. Alabama's offense is not even at the top. They're not even in the middle. They're toward the bottom. And a lot of these major offensive categories, and a lot of that's due to the lack of creativity from Tommy Rees, and a lot of that's due to the lack of using, all of your weapons, all of your playmakers, and making things simple for those guys, and making things easy for those guys, and forcing a defense to defend, every inch, every width of the field. I continue to reiterate, this is something that Steve Sarkisian talked about it. We want to do so many things well that we stress a defense out, that we stress a defensive coordinator out. And this offense, let's just be honest, it's not stressing any defensive coordinator out. not stressing any defense out. Why? Because it's predictable. You know exactly what's going to happen. And when you become predictable, when people know exactly what you're going to do, exactly what you're going to call, exactly what you're going to run, they don't have to waste unnecessary energy to defend you. They don't have to waste unnecessary energy to stop you because they know exactly what you're going to do. So for Tommy Rees, the big thing in this game coming up is going to be, does he finally let go of, the predictability and start to really pull some stuff out? Because he pulled stuff out in Notre Dame. He wasn't predictable in Notre Dame. He pulled stuff out. I know a lot of their offense was predicated on the run, but Tommy Rees still pulled stuff out that had you go, whoa, I didn't think Notre Dame had that. I didn't think the Fighting Irish would run that. Man, where did that come from? So it's been beyond time to pull more of those things out the bag, more of those things out the arsenal. Tommy Rees. I mean, now it's time. Definitely stick to the run game absolutely when it's working, but when it's time to also pull something different out to catch an opposing to catch a defense off guard, pull some stuff out too. Don't hold nothing back, man. Get creative with that thing. Pull some stuff out too. Bama fans are desiring the best, not just from the defense, but from the offensive play calling standpoint also. So it's okay. Just like it's okay for Nick Saban to get mad sometimes. It's like it's okay Jalen Milroe to run. Tommy Rees, it's okay to be creative, son. It's okay. It's okay. Creativity, Tommy Rees, is not a crime. If Thomas Edison wasn't creative, we wouldn't have a light bulb right now, Tommy Rees. We wouldn't have a light bulb. Okay? It's all right to be creative sometimes. If we weren't creative, we wouldn't have no DoorDash, no Uber Eats. To creativity to get that stuff. If Steve Jobs wasn't creative, God rest us, so we wouldn't have an iPhone right now. Man. It's okay, Tommy Rees, to be a little bit more pizzazz, creative, eye candy, motion. Hey, ain't no crime. Ain't no crime, Tommy. Pull that out. Pop the cork off there. Yo. Anyway, we want all the best in news, notes, entertainment, fun, alerts here on your favorite Alabama program. Folks, you can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store. You got the Android phone for your audio needs. Check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered right there. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. Try to be back on Monday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Gotta give a shout out to Ty Alexander with that $9.99 in the super chats, and then the Sage. The Sage dropping in that $10 donation right there. That daily super chat goal of $100 has been met. Give it up to you guys. The Bama fans getting that done. Gotta show some love to all of you, the Bama Nation, for all the calls, all the donations, chatting, super chatting, phone calls, making this your spot here to talk Bama. Gotta show some love to my man, Eli Walker, right here in the production studio, holding it down. And until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you guys continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing too. Not be bored there. You get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.